Okay, and we are live. Welcome to is this the first show, Cece? Yeah?
First show. Usually I'm behind. You keep me hid.
So this is the first boy and girl show. If you're watching on TikTok, welcome. We love to have you here. This is the first show called The Boy and Girl Show, hosted by myself, Dr. Christopher Sloot, and Cece Shatz. Now, Cece, you're the Doyenne of dating. Is that?
Doyenne, here I am. I'm the Doyenne of Relationships.
I love it.
First dating and life transitional coach.
Very cool. Very cool. So here we are on the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio. This is the very first show that we are hosting as part of the Bold Network, or the Bold Wednesday evenings. We would like to tell you a little bit about what our show is about. If you are just watching on TikTok, you'll hear my friend Cece from the screen. Cece, what's the show about?
Well, we are talking about the differences between men and women.
Mm-hmm. This whole men are from Mars, women are from Venus kind of a thing, right?
Right. And we're not really quite sure what planet you're from.
That's very true. Very true.
We're going to give you a name. We're going to give you a planet. But yeah, we haven't decided.
I appreciate that. It could be Pluto, which is kind of a planet, kind of not, right? It could be the moon. So if you're just logging in, thank you so much for logging into TikTok. And if you're just joining us for our very first show, this is part of a larger network that Cece and I are putting together called the Going Bold Network. The Going Bold Network is a joint venture between myself and Cece. So if you have not heard what I've been up to lately, I am either dropping or selling, depending on what happens first, the plus size media magazine brand that I have created for various reasons. I have decided not to drop the name Bold because Bold is a part of me, and we're going to continue to call this the Going Bold Men's Network. So we're talking a bit about men, women, how all those things kind of translate. And tonight, specifically on this show, we're going to talk about the differences between men and women with regard to the Netflix and chill date. Now, if you're watching us on TikTok, if you've not done this before, we only go live for about 10 minutes on TikTok. I'll tell you where to find us after if you want to check us out at the end of the 10 minute for TikTok. And then we're going to be live on Instagram. You can check us out there as well. So Cece, I want to start this out right now. I want to get this all out on the table. Have you ever been asked to Netflix and chill?
Well, I think we've got a comment. I think in my generation, let's see what they're saying. Let's see. What's he saying? Oh, this is my first time seeing you. Hey, nice to see you.
This is the first time seeing you. And you know what? After you ask this question, we should talk about what's been going on with us lately. But I'm so curious, before we jump into this topic, Cece, and I don't want to, you're 42, correct?
Oh, yeah. Sure. All day I am.
She's from a different generation, so we're not. You never ask a woman her age. I don't care what generation you're from or they're from. But Cece, you've got just a few years on me. Have you ever been asked to Netflix and chill?
Okay, here's the deal. Now we're talking about it in a dating type of arena, right? So
yes.
How many dates are we in when they're asking about Netflix and chill?
And this is where, yeah.
So are they squeaky and they just don't want to take you out?
Right.
Do they want you to come over so they can snuggle and possibly get laid? Or is there a movie that they truly want to watch and they want to share that with you? So back to you.
We want to explore all that today. But first, before we even get into the Netflix and chill show, let's talk about what's been going on with us. Cece, you've had a lot of things happening. Tell what's been going on with you.
With me, what personally? So I am dating someone. We've been dating for about 6 months now.
6 months, right?
That's going pretty good. Going pretty cool. Up and down, a little bit of a roller coaster.
Right.
But I think it's because, we are a little older. And
right.
So, we tend to be a little bit set in our ways. And so when you're starting to kind of put that together, it's a bit of a transition,
Yeah.
And so, a little bit of up and down, but,
totally.
We're getting it on. We feel like teenagers. So what the heck?
Good. And you just moved now. You moved kind of an hour away from this man, and now he's got to travel.
I did. Actually, I met him online, and he loved the idea that I lived just down the street from him, and it was great.
Because he could Netflix and chill.
Right. And then just a couple of weeks after we met, I moved.
Right.
And now we're away. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
So he thinks I'm worth the drive, so he's coming.
Absolutely. And he drives to you every weekend, or you drive to him sometimes?
Yeah, he drives to me every weekend.
Every weekend.
Every weekend and one day, usually during the week.
Now that is something that men in our generation, I'm sorry, we just don't do. We don't drive to you every weekend. We don't do the things that we're supposed to do. And I say I try to. And we're going to talk about.
But then you don't get lucky.
Right.
Right?
I'm okay with that. I'm all right. I like to genuinely get to know somebody. So what's been going on with me lately? Looking at maybe even a career transition. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet. Really focusing on some ebooks. I'm focusing on some books as well. Doing another couple of things that I've been kind of working on. I have moved across the city from Central Vegas to Henderson, which is not that exciting, but my landlord sold my house, and so here we are. House is cute, not as big as it was. Lost my pool, so that's not cool. And just kind of it's a nice thing. Now, professionally, I'm super excited about making some pivots, making some transitions. I've got some books coming out. So just a lot of great things going on. Personally, not currently super, there's some folks that I'm talking to. I'm weighing it out. I'm seeing what's going on. If you followed my show at all, The Barbershop, I was really into somebody a couple of months ago, and it lasted a very short time, and we just weren't right for each other, but it is what it is, So, you live and you learn, and, I'm getting over it and moving on to some other, what is it, 8 billion people in the world? It's going to be fine.
Christopher, here's the thing is when I think we're more interesting when we have things going on in our lives.
Oh, yeah.
When we have a little bit of maybe, transition going on. And of course, that I own the Going Solo Network, which is a singles network. We have websites, Going Solo Community. We have the Travelers. So Traveler, we're doing a big travel thing a couple weekends from now, going down to Sanibel Island. And so, I'm very busy. And so to squeeze in, the weekend dating and to squeeze in during the week, that's a process for me to be able to do that. But, if you want to date and be with someone, you have to sometimes make those sacrifices,
I agree with that 1,000%. And I want to talk a bit about this whole Netflix and chill thing, because I don't know if it's always the connotation. So let's get this out on the table. First of all, I want to ask you, have you ever Netflix and chilled? And then I want to jump into the connotation of it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like with Netflix. We'll watch TV or we'll watch a movie or whatever. Yeah, so we do that, and mainly we do it when we're just kind of tired and we don't feel like going out.
Right.
We just, it's like, okay, he'll come over and maybe get Chinese, or we'll decide, let's not go out. We'll just get Chinese and stay at home, or get a pizza and stay at home. It's not, but I also think that as you're dating at the beginning of it, you have to be careful and not fall into that routine, because then they don't want to take you out. It just falls into like, I'm used to, especially with, us old timers, they just want to stay home and watch TV all the time. And, and that's me. I'm an active person, so that's not my bag. I don't want to be watching TV all the time, but it is kind of nice to have a quiet time, and you light candles and you make it a bit romantic. And I like it.
Now, if you're just hearing on TikTok, I want to recap that for a second. And then unfortunately, in about a minute, we're off TikTok, and we're moving to our Instagram live, and then we're off. We're on YouTube and Facebook. But Cece just described, what you just described, Cece, was what women think is going to happen during Netflix and chill. Now, here's what men mean when they ask for Netflix and chill. Now, this is not me. I am not a Netflix and chill. When I say come over for Netflix and chill, and I don't use that phrase. In fact, one time I did say to somebody on a date, I said, recently, I said, now I'm going to be an F-boy, if you know what that means, the bad word. And I'm going to invite you over to Netflix after dinner because I want to pursue this physically, right? And she said, okay, that's cool. And we'll figure that out. But men typically, when they say Netflix and chill, what they're typically meaning is, I'm going to throw on Netflix and we're going to be intimate, right? Right. They mean sex. And that doesn't always mean that's why the show exists, the Men and the Women show, right? Because men typically mean sex. And I'm being honest, there are nights I've had Netflix dates or friends over for Netflix recently where there was no intimacy, maybe a little bit of snuggling, a little bit of arm petting or something like that, a little bit of hand holding. Good night. Because I'm tired. And I literally just wanted your presence. I wanted your company. I wanted you next to me. You know what I mean? Nick says, I just want to watch some dang Netflix. Right. So I just want that company while we're doing something. Or to your point, right? sometimes we're exhausted, we're tired, we've had a lot going on in our week. I keep busy all the time. And I've suggested this. I've gone, look, I want to take you out. If you want to be taken out, and I appreciate that you want to be taken out, it's going to have to be Friday or even next week because I'm tired. If you want to see me closer in the week, then I'm going to propose that you come over, and I'll cook, I'll order dinner, we'll do an ice cream date, I'll make it fun, we'll get board games out. I've had dates for Monopoly, right? But I'm going to put in a movie, I'll even rent it, I'll pay the money to rent a movie, but we got to chill inside. And there's no physical intimacy implied, right? On that note, we're going to switch off our TikTok. If you have not watched our show before, you can come right on to WGSN Going Solo on Facebook or on YouTube. Find us there. We're live right now. Elizabeth says, I think there's a balance. You can go out and stay in. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll talk more about this on Facebook or YouTube, and we'll be on Instagram in a second. Thank you all for joining. Y'all rock. And Nick Neck says, what are we watching? Exactly. What are we watching? We are watching Netflix and chill is what we need to be. We're watching Netflix. So let me log us on to.
But when saying that, Christopher, I know you're doing all that in the background. I'll let you do that. But with saying that, it's when you do it. Like a lot of times, it's almost a signal, right? When you've gone out a few times. Let's say you met online. So you meet online. You don't count that as a date. Women do not count that as a date. So men will count it as a date. It's not a date. It's just
really?
You're just meeting. Right. So then you go out a couple times, and usually when they throw, let's watch a movie, it's when they're trying to get you over to the house.
Right.
Because they want to have sex.
Right.
Yes.
Now, wait a second.
So Stacey's right on that.
I want to come back to this for a second. We're going live on Instagram. I want to come back to that. Are you meaning to tell me that, and we're live on Instagram, welcome everybody. Are you telling me that some men you've spoken to think that meeting online, like, what do you mean? Like, if they Zoom with you or Skype, they consider that a date? Or if they just
Zoom, that's not a date. Zoom or Skype is not a date.
No, but they consider it to be?
No, when you've met online, when you meet online for the first time,
right?
That's not a date. That's just meeting. You're just meeting each
they
other.
Think that's some people.
And you
think
shouldn't even make it a date. It should be just for a few hours, and then you're out of there.
Yeah, for sure.
You're just assessing on whether you want to go out with them again. Let's see what Stacey says. As much as playing Monopoly may reveal about a person's character, that's an after meeting the parents.
After meeting the parents. I'll tell you about Monopoly in a second. I want to approach.
Here's another one. Comments not working on Facebook.
Oh no!
I wonder why they're not working on Facebook. They should be working on Facebook. They
should be working. Maybe they're not coming through. You have to put them through. So if you're just joining us on Instagram Live, we are talking about, this is the first show we've ever done, Cece and I, and you can't see Cece, but you're hanging out with me. We're talking about the Boys and Girls Show, and we are specifically talking about the Netflix and chill date. Now, if you missed the first 10 minutes of the show, but we're talking about the differences in what the connotation is. Now, the connotation is that men believe that Netflix and chill means some physical intimacy, where women feel as though it's just Netflix and chill. I'm a weird guy. I'm definitely a weird guy, and enough's been written about me for you to know that I'm a weird guy. But when I say come over and let's watch a movie, I am not implying physical intimacy in the slightest. Now, do I want physical intimacy with a partner? Yeah, I typically do, right? So I went out recently with somebody, and oh my God, she was so attractive. She was just such an and we've been out before, and like, she wore something that was just like, oh, she looked great. And I'll be honest, we were hanging out at dinner, and I had an appointment later on in the evening, right? And I said, look, I'm going to stay awake. Do you want to hang out a little bit longer? And at first we were going to hang out at my place and just kind of watch a movie. And I literally was going to watch a movie. And then I think maybe she got cold feet, and she's like, oh, why don't we go out? And I was like, I really don't want to stay out. Like, we've been out for hours. I said, I'm going to go home. And she was like, all right, well, I'm going to go hang out with my friend. And I was like, that's fine. Here's the thing. Would I have been intimate with this person if the opportunity arose? Absolutely. But I would have, of course, waited for consent, right? I think there's this connotation that you're put in a position too early to make that decision when you're Netflix and chilling, right? So women are put into this situation where there's some pressure involved maybe, and they want to be accepted. They want that physical intimacy. They're just not ready to have that intimacy or make the decision about that intimacy because it's too soon. And I think men men think with one brain, and it's not the brain that's up here. Let's be real, right? So that's what I think that the connotation is. But back to your point, Cece, you had mentioned a couple of different ways in which we can Netflix and chill. You talked about cooking dinner. You talked about staying in for the night. What's been like the best Netflix and chill date you've been on?
Well, we do it a lot during the week because we're tired, so you don't want to go out and stay out late or whatever like that. So we tend to do the Netflix and chill during the week when we see each other during the week. Yeah. But of course, that we've been dating for a while. So of course that leads to other things. But if you're just dating, I mean, I think you have to be careful because I think there's a line for women, there's that we want to be respected.
Yes.
And so if we're coming over to your house and you say, okay, it's just going to be, we're just going to watch a movie, we're just going to chill out, then you should really do that and not try to, make moves on us and all of this kind of stuff. Yeah. If we decide, that we want something else, then we'll make the move. You'll get the feeling, you'll know, that we want to make it happen. But I think that's where that line is. And then we get upset because we feel like, okay, you didn't respect us enough to keep your boundaries, Yeah. Oh, we've got a really long comment here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put this up. I'll let you read it.
Okay.
There you go.
May I ask for your opinion? I've been seeing this guy for a while and he proposed to me, but is still in the home with his baby mama. And he says that we will be together, but can't leave because of the well-being of the child. He says that certain aspects of my life need to change, but I feel like the dynamic would change in my life if he would be truly committed to me. Wow. So Ariel, that is without a doubt, in my opinion, a men are from Mars, women are from Venus kind of conversation. And to be honest, that seems like two folks who are not, let me say this the right way. He's put, and I hate to pit it on him, but it kind of sounds like he did. He's put you in a situation where you're in a lose-lose because we're going to take a break from this, from the Netflix and chill thing for a second, because Ariel asks, this guy is basically saying there are things in your life that you need to change. And you're saying, well, those things would change if you weren't living with your baby mama. And first of all, this is the new 2021, right? This is what happens because there are so many broken families and broken, people are having children, and that's fine, right? We need to adjust as a generation to that lifestyle, knowing that you're probably I'm 36 years old. I'm probably going to meet somebody with a child or two, at least one marriage, maybe not. They could have two children from two different marriages. That's cool. Like, it's fine. I'm going to have to adjust to the fact that there may be two dads in these people's lives, and I'm whatever's left. Like I'm Uncle Chris, or, whatever they're going to call me, right? Christopher. But here's the thing, I don't know the reason that he's hanging out, that he's living with his baby mama. It could be financial. Again, that's a 2021 thing. That's definitely a generational thing. We don't make as much money compared to the housing market as we used to, so we can't easily leave. I mean, I've dated people who have been still living with their ex, who have to wait and blah, and it's tough. So I'm not going to take that away from this man. He may be in a situation where he can't leave his baby mama. Maybe it's bad for the child. When does that end? When does that situation end? And here's what I don't love about what he said. And again, look, it's, the pot calling the kettle black. I've been in situations where I've said stupid stuff, but I like to think I'm in a growth mindset and I'm growing myself. He's put you in the situation where he says, first of all, you need to change these things before I commit to you, right? First of all, but he already proposed to you, right? So how much do you need to change? If I'm proposing to somebody, I'm going to be darn sure that that's a person that I want to be with. Bottom line, right? I don't propose until I know, well, maybe I did once. We're not going to talk about that. But now in my older balding age, the next time I propose to somebody, I would like to make sure that they're somebody that I want to be with for the rest of my life. Or you can't foresee the future, a significant amount of time. We've bonded, we're there, whatever. The second thing he says, though, is you've got to change these things. And then you come back and say, well, I would change these things if I weren't in this situation. This is super situational. I hate ultimatums, and men tend to do the ultimatums a little bit more in my experience. Maybe it's because I'm friendly with more women and they tell me. Women do the ultimatums too. They'll say, well, and again, for anybody who's joining this show for the first time, and I talk about men and women and gender roles, I need to be very clear. I am all for fluid gender roles. I'm all for fluidity. we're just talking about the stereotypical kind of gender roles, right? So like there's non-binary, there's LGBTQ, there's trans, there's all sorts of new gender roles that are out there. But we're specifically talking about, it seems like, a hetero relationship where this man is engaged to this woman or trying to marry this woman. I don't love that he's put you in a situation of wanting you to change. That to me is I hate to say the word red flag, but it's a red flag. It's an alert. I would be on alert for that. 2, that he's not leaving his baby's mother physically. And sure, it's not great for the child to have all these other, situations, but that's the reality of how we're raising children today. So if he can't get with that, like what is he going to do? Like invite you to live in his home with him? Like, how's that going to work? Right. In my opinion, and Ariel, I don't know you from Eve or Adam, and I apologize for making such a statement like this, but it seems to me like he's putting you in this situation because he doesn't want to commit. He's putting you in a losing situation. This to me sounds like a situation in which you're going to lose, and he's going to lose, and the child's going to lose, and his ex-wife's going to lose, or girlfriend, or the baby's mother. And that's a lot of what men do. And I've been there. I've been up on sides.
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ariel, he's an unavailable man. And what the reality is, it's not about him, it's about you. And what you said here is that he says that certain aspects of his life need to change. So my advice, Ariel, is allow him to make those changes and then come when he's available, and then you build a relationship with him. Right now, three's a crowd, and you just can't do it. So, I mean, I know it's very blunt, but that's the reality. No. And we as women have to set our boundaries as to what is good for us. And so if this relationship is not good for you, and this is what I'm hearing, if I'm not mistaken, this is what I'm hearing. And it's like, I really care for this guy. All of this stuff is happening, but we can't seem to work it out. Well, it's the timing in a relationship is what is the key. And so maybe it's just not the right time. And he's maybe a great guy. Sounds like he's a great dad, but he's not available. If he was available, he'd be out of the house. He'd be ready to start dating. He'd be, he needs to man up and, get his life together, and figure out what he wants to do.
I just want to get no, you're fine. You keep talking. I just want to get this in before we exit the live on Instagram. This is why I value you. One of the many reasons that I value, and I'm sorry for trying to cut you off. I wanted to get these words in before I exited the Instagram. You're brilliant. And you said that so succinctly and so effortlessly. No, it's true. And this is why we're doing the Boys and Girls Show, because it took me, how many statements to get to what you said. He's unavailable, and that's it. So that being said, you can find the YouTube channel. It's actually on my Instagram. It's on my story. It's also on the Facebook page. Is on my my Shorby on my profile. So that being said, we're going to be ending this part of the show. So come join us on Facebook or YouTube. You can also catch us. Aren't we on like a million other radio stations later? You can just Google us.
We drop this down, and then it'll go into our live streaming radio station. So it'll be rebroadcast in several different platforms. So you won't miss it. It'll stay on Facebook, and it'll stay on our YouTube channel. So it'll be there for you. But, I don't want to make it like it's so light, because, Ariel, you've got feelings, and your feelings are now being mixed and your emotions and all of that. And it's hard when you start really caring about someone, because we as women give our hearts away, and men need to understand that, that's a very precious gift that a woman is giving you when we give our heart to you. And so it needs to be handled with care. And, and I feel by what you said is that he's in a place where he does care for you. So there's no mistake about that. He's just in a place where he can't get out of right now. He can't seem to, see the light between the trees. So you just have to, allow him that space to be able to work out his situation. And you can maybe possibly get busy doing something else and be available at another time. But this time in place, three's a crowd, and you need to value yourself to be able to say that's not going to work for me, and move on. We do have some other things here. Oh yeah, here she
Yeah, talk to me.
heart. I'm conflicted. My head and my heart are fighting. Absolutely. That's exactly what's happening. But you have to be realistic. Here's the thing. One other thing is I wanted to share, and we all struggle with this a great deal. It's like you can love somebody, right? You can absolutely be madly in love with them. You can every essence of who they are, but
Mhm.
maybe you can't live with them.
Right. It's true.
You can't, at this time, you're not going to be able to live with this man. So then you have to think about what kind of relationship do you truly want,
Yeah.
And so if you want more than that, you have to respect yourself and say, hey, this is not really a good thing for me. Set your boundaries, move on. And you'll probably find, someone that's even, I don't want to say better, but someone that will match you at where you're at. Here's the thing is your vibration, right? When you continue a relationship like this, you're lowering your vibration. So these type of individuals that are not available are going to start, coming more and more into your life. When you set these boundaries and you become a strong individual, really truly know the essence of who you are, your vibration raises, and those that are attracted to you are the right ones that are to be in your life. So
brilliant. The metaphor that I think about, and then Ariel, let's do a whole show, I think, on unavailable men and women. But the metaphor that I think about is, imagine if you went to school for 8 years or however long it takes to get a law degree, right? And I'm using a law degree because I have a PhD, so I don't want to sound pretentious and quote and say my PhD. You go and get a law degree. And the first job you get out is, and there's nothing wrong with this job,